Good Friday morning, everybody. I hope yours is going well. Been a few days. Been a few days since we did one of these. Not a whole lot going on in the world of the Seahawks right now, so I am taking it easy. And also, I'm still sick. I don't get sick often, guys. I don't. It's been years since I've been sick, so when it happens, it tends to knock me flat for quite a while. So, still trying to shake it. It's been like a week and a half. It's on the way out for sure. It's definitely better than it was last week, but I just haven't been able to completely shake this thing. Hopefully, next week it'll be completely gone and I can get on with life. But yeah, it continues to be a problem. So, that being said, I do stream on Twitch pretty much every day, although sometimes I may not be feeling as talkative. But if you want to catch me, you can continue to do so over there. We have a handful of people who show up to pretty much every stream, streaming pretty much every day. We're 2 followers away from 200 over there, by the way. So if you are interested in watching me play games and you're not already subbed over there or following over there, then what are you waiting for? But anyway, we got some news, some Seahawks news, and I think it's worth talking about. This is like the third attempt that I've made trying to record this video, by the way. I've had hardware issues. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to dig into it a little bit when I feel like it. But yeah, so sorry if I missed something important here, but this is the third time I've recorded this video, basically. But it concerns the Seahawks being sold, and we talk about this sometimes. We go into this sometimes on this channel because this is one of the most interesting subplots going on with the Seahawks right now. Maybe it's not even a subplot. Maybe it's the whole plot. Because whether or not this team is sold to the right person, whether or not it's sold at the right time, whether or not this process is handled well, it could be a pretty monstrous deal. It could be... I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think this team is in any danger of being moved anytime soon like some people, but the possibility exists. I'm not going to act like it's zero. And if the wrong person buys it and the wrong circumstances spring from it, then I guess it could happen. So we've been trying to get to the bottom of this whole Seahawks being sold thing for a while now because it's been said by many people over the years that there was a clause in the stadium agreement between Paul Allen and the city of Seattle where the team could not be moved until X date, or excuse me, sold until X date. Obviously, you never plan to sell the team, but nobody seemed to really be able to agree on what that date was, when the team could be sold by. And there were also questions about, is Jody Allen interested in owning this team? So we didn't know. But thanks to some information that came out last month combined with something that came out yesterday, I think we can kind of narrow this down pretty well. So this article over on PFT, it does not bury the lead. It puts it right in the headline. If Seahawks sell, it likely won't happen before May of 2024. So let's dive into this a little bit. Via Ben Fisher of Sports Business Journal, the 1997 law that funded the construction of the team stadium in Seattle provides that the state of Washington would be entitled to 10% of the gross proceeds if the team is sold before May of 2024. So basically, if the team is sold sometime in the next 23 months, 10% of the gross proceeds go to the state. If they are sold after that date, May of 2024, then the state doesn't get anything, and the ownership group that sells it gets to keep all the money. And that's a pretty big deal. The Denver Broncos sold for about $5 billion, just so $5 billion. You could expect the Seattle Seahawks to go for about that much, especially in 2 years. It might even be a little bit more. I don't know which franchise is more desirable to buyers, but in 2 years from now, with inflation being what it is, with the value of these things continuing to go up, you can reasonably expect the Seahawks to sell for about $5 billion as well. So 10% is $500 million. That's a lot of money. And we also know from the trust, the Paul Allen Trust that we've been made privy to, the reason why these things are getting sold, these Paul Allen assets, like the Seahawks, like the Blazers, is that Paul Allen wanted to fund some of the projects that he felt a lot of passion for. He wanted to fund certain things that he felt very strongly about. And given that that is the desire desired outcome of getting this money, it makes sense that the ownership group headed by Jody Allen wants to get as much as possible. So that $500 million, that 10%, is a pretty big deal. So given that all the Seahawks will have to, or excuse me, all Jody Allen has to do is wait 2 years to sell the team, I think it's very likely you're going to see that happen. So we have our timeline. Last month we got confirmation that the team would be sold because the Paul Allen Trust stated straight up that it needed to be sold. It had to be sold. There was no opportunity for anything else to happen. There may be some opportunity for Jody Allen to purchase part of the team, but because of the way the Paul Allen Trust is written, the team will be sold. So that being the case, we now have a timeline. Probably sometime in the next 2 years, you're going to hear buzz. You're going to hear this guy could be the buyer, that guy could be the buyer, that group could buy, that group could buy. And then 2 years from now, it's probably going to happen pretty quickly. I am guessing that given the fact that it was stipulated in the Paul Allen Trust that this needs to happen, it'll happen as soon as possible after this clause expires. So, yeah. For those of you who have been wondering when this stuff might go down, I believe we have our answer. I think that you're going to see a lot of buzz, a lot of rumors, a lot of stuff get churned through over the next couple years where more leaks are going to happen. You're going to see more potential buyers start to accumulate money, accumulate funds to make this happen. So maybe sometime next year you're going to see a full-blown auction where the buyer will be determined, but the sale won't be made final until the following summer. And I think that pretty much sums it up. So now we know, and hopefully that'll be the end of that. Now, the question is really how to feel about all this, right? Because many people, myself included, have questioned whether or not Jody Allen really had any interest in owning an NFL franchise, had any interest in owning the Seahawks. And that answer to me is still not clear. On the one hand, she doesn't seem to have quite the drive for it that Paul Allen did. But on the other hand, we did see her be involved in the draft process in the most recent draft, which is kind of, well, I don't want to exaggerate the meaning behind that too much, but it does indicate some level of interest that I think a few people would have not given her. So I don't know if this is necessarily even a good thing at this point. I don't know if another owner would necessarily be better than Jody. But regardless, with the information that we have right now, we know for a fact that this is going to happen. And now we have a pretty good idea of when it is going to happen. The remaining question is who? Who might purchase? This article mentions Josh Harris, the co-owner of the Sixers, who was prepared to bid about $5 billion on the Broncos. He got outbid by a little bit, I suppose, but a similar price tag, maybe a little bit more by the time we get there, will probably get you the Seahawks, so he's got to be top on that list. And look, NFL teams, good investment, and there aren't that many opportunities to get one. There are only 32 NFL teams. They don't go for sale that often. So the opportunities to own an NFL team, if you want one, they don't come around that often. So the Seahawks are going to go for sale. There's probably going to be one or two other teams over the next decade. But this is your opportunity, guys, so step up. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Going to try to get all the way better. And hope to see you guys on a more regular basis soon. See you guys on Twitch later today as well. And go Hawks.